not diets, is a plant-based, bean-based way of life. And dry beans are not only more economical, but they're healthier than canned beans. So today I want to show you how to not just soak, but sprout your dry beans. Why sprout them, Michelle? Because sprouting them makes them more nutritious and easier to digest. This evening, I want to soak and sprout some Great Northern beans and some lentils. I want to do both so you will see that the lentils are going to sprout more quickly than the Great Northern beans. So the first step is simple. You're just going to cover your beans with water, making sure you have 3 times more water than beans, because that's about how much they're going to soak up. And you want to make sure it's pure water, because fluoridated and chlorinated water is not great since the beans are going to soak up the water. Reverse osmosis or distilled water are a couple sources of pure water. So that's it for the evening. We're just going to soak our beans and go to bed and let them soak all night. Well, now it's morning and you can see that our Great Northern beans and our lentils have absorbed the water, at least 3 times their volume. And now we're ready to drain them. So we're just going to take a strainer and drain our beans. And then you want to rinse them well. So using good pure water, you want to rinse the beans so that you get any residue off of them and give them a good drink of water. They're actually ready to cook now. You could boil them and go ahead with your recipes. But I choose to add an extra step and sprout them. So I'm going to sit my strainer right there in a pie plate, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing with the lentils. And I'm going to rinse those as well. Get all those lentils out of the cup. Give them a good drink and a rinse. And again, you don't even have to soak lentils before you use them. But when we see the sprouts, we're going to talk about why we sprout them. But for now, that is it. We have our beans sprouting. We're going to kind of push them up the edge of the colanders or the strainers so that they can get some air circulation, and we'll come back and rinse them later. So it's been just about 11 hours since we drained the beans and the lentils and put them into the strainers. Now it's time to rinse them. You want to rinse them every 8 to 12 hours. Rinsing them more frequently will cause them to sprout more quickly. Actually, these have already begun to sprout, so they're really ready to use. Both the lentils and the Great Northern beans have tiny little sprouts so small that there's no way we could capture them on camera. But I could go ahead and cook them or use them however I planned to use them now. But since my prep day is tomorrow, I'm just going to rinse them and let them sprout a little bit longer overnight. Good morning. Our beans have sprouted. As we said, they were actually sprouted last night, but we let them go for 24 hours just so you would be able to see the sprouts on this video. So what we're going to do now is rinse them one last time, and I'm going to show you an alternative method for rinsing them. You can sit them in a bowl of pure water and rinse them this way. Move them around a little in the bowl and take them up. If that's easier for you than running the water over them, that's another option. One really nice thing about the sprouts is that they soften. The beans soften as they're sprouted. So one option is you can actually use them raw, but they need to be used within the day. Lentil sprouts double their antioxidant potency when they're sprouted, as opposed to just the lentils. So that's nutrition bang for your buck. Now I'm going to show you a close-up so that you can see what the sprouts look like. And as I said, you need to use them in the day once you've sprouted them. You can Well, like I mentioned, eat them raw, or number two, you can cook them. I'm going to be cooking these white beans today and making them into smoky bean and kale soup. You can also just cook them and freeze them in portion sizes. Or the third option is that you can dehydrate them. If you dehydrate them, then you have sprouted beans ready for use in any recipe, and you have to cook them as you use them. The other way you can dehydrate them is to make them into a crunchy snack, which I sometimes do with my lentils. Now, go and sprout your beans because you're getting more nutrition and they're easier to digest. You will find that sprouted beans create much less gas.